Hey guys, Louie here, and if you're new to silver stacking or gold stacking, hang around. I'm going to make the case for why silver should be part of your portfolio. Okay, let's go. Many of you have been around a long time, and you know that there is quite a bit of debate on whether silver is a wise hold or gold is the way to go. All right? I have been diving deep on this subject and consuming a lot of material that I don't normally look at, and I'm coming to a position that I think I've considered pretty fairly. This is going to be a pro-silver video. It's not going to be an anti-gold video. I think if you fall into that camp of wanting to pit one against the other, I think that you could be overlooking some opportunity, because life is not binary, right? There's all kinds of shades of gray in between. So let me get going here. I'll try to get this done in 4 minutes. All right, why the silver bull is coming, and what I'm saying here is, if you look at silver and you look at gold, I believe silver will appreciate at a faster percentage than gold in the next 3 months. We know demand is high. The silver mines are closing, as you know, and that could be for a week, or as some of us are finding out, that could be for 2 months. I mean, when the military says that they will not be moving their troops around for 60 days, you have to believe that they know something. Maybe it's they're protecting against the virus, or maybe they're preparing to police the riots in the street in the United States. I don't know which, but I do predict the National Guard will be in all the big cities in 2 weeks. But let me move on, trying not to go on and on like I normally do. Okay, but the mints are closing, as you know, for a little bit or a long bit. It gets kind of dank and dark and deep and tight down there, so I'm not positive. Well, for the underground mints, I know there's above ground extraction as well. But, they could close down. They could stay down for a while. But aside from that, all right, the primary driver of silver production is zinc, copper, and lead. All right, so when you think this through, all of those materials are currently in non-existent demand, right? The demand is not only low, it's non-existent. And for all we know, there are ships sailing around full of the stuff, just like there is with oil. By the way, nice trade on oil today, right? And the silver will not normally be mined as it was, and it's not going to be a V-shaped recovery, right? So it's going to take a while for these mines to get going, and in the meantime, demand will increase. One of the reasons is I've been around for quite a few years, and we have spent a lot of time down in the dumps here, a lot of time building the base of this move, and we deserve to be at 19, and probably would have kept going if not for what's occurring right now. So I do believe that we have spent long enough in this base, and I think that 17 to 19 is where we definitely ought to be. The GSR at 110 currently, okay, it's absurd. It's absurd, all right? And could it go to 210? Well, I guess it could, but I would, I'm going to look for horses, not zebras, and say that the GSR is going to come back down, and it's going to come back down by virtue of silver increasing dramatically from here. Now let's turn to gold, okay? And of course, I like to keep 50-50 is my stack between silver bullion and gold bullion, excluding collector coins. And, the case for gold, well, people who are betting everything on gold are going to be fighting a little bit of a headwind. And of course, the debasing of our fiat is outrageous and beyond belief and earth-shaking and a predictor of times to come, like Venezuela, etc. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening right now, and the more videos I watch, the more I'm convinced it is the end of the fiscal system as we know it. But that's a different video. So there's a good reason to buy gold, and all the billionaires and whatnot, they have their share of gold, and there theoretically is some gold being held in a vault on the ETF called the GLD. But that is not the majority of the gold in the world. Majority of the gold in the world, as far as I know from what's been published, is held by different countries, right? All right, so, and some of those countries like Russia just said, we are not going to be buying any more gold. Well, no duh, the oil is $20, and that's what their economy is based on. So what that means is they're going to be selling their gold. And you know who else is going to be selling their gold? Every single country on the planet that fears revolution, okay? Unless they have their own monetary supply that they can debase, but chances are they've already done that, as much as maybe they dare. So I do think you'll be fighting the headwind of other countries liquidating gold. And even though you and I and your neighbor, and Bill Gates, or not Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, think gold is a good idea, well, true, but we don't move this market. At least I don't think we do. I think it's the large purchasers, which are the countries that move the market, and they might be looking at selling at a high, So, but I think gold and silver will both go in a positive direction. But I do think that silver will outstrip the percentage gains of gold by a large amount. All right, I think whatever the percentage increase in gold is, I think silver will see 300% of that. I think gold's on its way to 2,000, but I think silver is on its way to 30 very easily. So think about that, and give it a couple of months. And, if you're in doubt of what to do, strongly encourage you to really keep a balance of both. You set the percentage, but there's nothing wrong with stacking gold, and there's nothing wrong with stacking good old cheap silver. All right, and silver is cheap, and don't believe there's no silver out there when I could buy 1,000 ounces of generic silver in the 16s right now. Okay, it would take me a month to get it, but look at the Mason Mint and possibly Scottsdale. They've got silver. And anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I hope I've made my case. That's my prediction. And like I said, give it a couple months. Don't give up on silver. I think that you'll be buying high and selling low if you trade out your silver for gold. And beware of selling on eBay, because post office is no longer collecting signatures for large sales. So LCS closed and eBay sales are dangerous. It's going to be difficult to even sell and transport your silver, so I'm not recommending you trade it in for gold. Do consider a 50-50 split. Like I said, that's what I do. But I expect more from silver, and I expect it pretty fast. That's just my considered opinion. All right, guys, love to hear what your opinions are. I know the community is all over the map, and many are probably just in a state of confusion. I know that all the events unfolding as fast as they are can just make you crazy, especially if you're trying to hold down a job while it's all going on, and you're also trying to preserve your wealth and not get murdered in the stock market and so forth. There is a lot to consider there. Again, I'm just thrilled I'm out of the stock market and able to take advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself. I've even been thinking about increasing my allocation to precious metals up from 10% to something higher. So anyway, I think crazy times are ahead, and don't fear silver. I think silver will be your friend, although when it gets to that 300%, you may want to sell and wait for it to come back, because those mints that are closed down, it's going to create a supply shortfall as long as it takes for them to open. But eventually they will open, and there'll be lots of silver on the market, and then it'll probably come back down, depending on how far we are along in fighting this crisis. Okay, guys, again, what do you think? What are you doing? You 50-50? You all in on one or the other? You have all your money on Bitcoin? Did you get out of the stock market? Are you collecting disability? Wow. Did you lose your job? I hope not. All right. Talk to you guys later.